Hi and welcome to another edition of OnSide SA. Budgie and I are going to keep you updated on the latest standings. With last one standing, we're going to speak to our international pundit Steve Braham, who's in the Fulham studio, to catch up with what's going on. Budge, we always start with last one standing. Yeah. It's been a lot of people go out in this new competition, not the old one.
Yeah, Paul, it's not easy.
Yeah, no, it's never easy.
Tony Bargate last night, and he's a big Fulham boy, and he said, "How do you find some of these? If you went on Man City, you were out last night. They went through.
Yes.
But prior to that, they lost 4 in a row. You were gone.
That's right.
Other than Liverpool, who didn't obviously drew last night, Paul, the inconsistency has been frightening.
No, well, that's the league for you. You know, and I watched a lot of the games. You know, I was watching Chelsea at the two teams, and against
Southampton.
Southampton were rolling them.
Yeah,
they were rolling them. Did you see the goals they give away?
Yeah, I saw the first couple.
That goalie at the back, I forget his name.
Well, that's the manager. We'll discuss.
We'll discuss in a moment. But let's just go to the one competition still going because they can't seem to find a winner. Tracy Anderson, Dean Grove. West Ham, they got thumped. Wolves got thumped.
Yeah.
So they go into, let's just talk about those two first.
Yes.
Tracy Anderson's doing brilliantly. Now, here are the teams they can pick.
Yeah.
I'll go to Tracy first, Budge.
Yeah.
Leicester, Bournemouth, Crystal Palace, Everton, Ipswich and Southampton. And Dean has got Fulham, Bournemouth, Crystal Palace, Everton, Ipswich Town, Southampton. A lot of similarities.
That's the problem, Paul.
So they've got to come in cold, and hopefully they're on different teams.
Well, yeah, just so everybody knows. Some guys said, but they've had 2 defeats. The first competition we had 3 when Ernie Wallace won the first one. But the rules are we play till there is a winner. That's why it's called last one standing.
Yeah.
So we'll carry on.
Let's go to the main one, as I like to call it now, because most people are looking for the next one already. After week 4, we had those midweek games, Budge.
Yeah.
Arsenal, Brentford, Notts Forest and Chelsea went through.
Yeah.
Brighton 29, Tottenham 9, Wolves 2 and Newcastle. So from
that was the weekend, Paul.
That was the weekend, so it dropped to 22 of 63. And last night we dropped 2 with Liverpool and 1 with Ipswich Town, so there's 19 left. There's none on tonight's game.
No.
So going into the weekend, 19 of 20,
left, Paul.
of 22. Ladies winner.
Yeah, Tracy won it again, Paul.
Fantastic. Very, very good.
Yeah. You know, Jocelyn and Emma were on Liverpool.
Second was...
So they were 2 runners-up. You know, Jocelyn Everett,
Emma,
who's in Dubai, and Emma Trisman in Town.
The internationals that are still in that 19. Steve Griffiths and Ross Marinkovitz. Where is he?
Minxie's son, he's in the US.
US of A. And a former champion still in, Lance Whiteford, he does well.
The postman,
him and his wife do well in the competition. Tubbs Riddell in Texas.
Texas, cruising.
Ladies, locals remaining.
The locals,
Selwyn Elk, great racing man. Tony Bargate, your mate.
Yeah.
He's still going. Mark Marinkovitz, Minxie, what a good gentleman. Rion Diaga, do I know Rion?
A super sport rugby man. He's the big time.
Joe Soma, the humble hero.
Humble hero.
Good to have the humble hero going through. Peter Barker, Spurs man of note. Well done. Gareth Parsons.
My right-hand man in the competition.
Yeah, your right-hand man, eh?
Tick,
is it Brian Niker?
Brian Niker, used to work for Hollywood, big man, United man.
A couple of Hollywood boys there with Barker and him. Mark Jackson.
Yep, Thriller as you would call him.
You're a Thriller. Mark Alexander.
Yeah, I know. Mike got married on Saturday,
And the key now is the last lot.
Oh, these,
Robert Garner, the journalist, 2 entries.
2 entries, yeah.
Robbie Talon's getting his claws in.
One of my Italian mates, Robbie's got 2 as well.
Okay, so that's how it stands, and the games are this weekend.
This weekend, Liverpool, Everton, so I think most of the guys have used Everton, but, 12:30, Paul, closing time. There's a couple of guys have come through already. The looks one sitter, but you never know in this competition, Paul. But
there was a sitter last week. It ended up being you sit out.
Brighton, you sat out.
You sat out. Let's get Stevie B in, Budge. Steve, are you there?
I'm here. Good morning.
Morning, Steve. How's things in Blighty?
Yeah, cold and wet, but otherwise all good.
All right, Steve. We'll just do a quick review of the midweek results. Ipswich Crystal Palace. I didn't watch much of it, but it was a bit of a...
Ipswich had their chances again.
Yeah, I think Palace is a big result for them. I mean, they got out of jail against Newcastle with a very late goal at the weekend. But a big 3 points and a bit of a blow for Ipswich because they... Obviously, they're trying to sort of pull away, but sort of Palace are the ones who pull away from the bottom 3 now.
Yeah, I watched Leicester West Ham because Tracy was on West Ham. 31 shots, I think. I could not believe they
West Ham
got...
started beautifully.
Yeah. How they never scored. I thought they were going to win. 31 shots. Breakaway was like Leicester when they won the league. Caught them on the break, 3-0 up. Conceded late, but rude. So the United boys finally got a result. Steve, I watched Everton until 2-0 Everton Wolves. I can't believe it's the same Wolves team that I've seen. You know how they've competed. They got every ball in the box. Looked like Everton were going to score 2 own goals. So well done to Everton. I'm glad for Sean Dyche. I think he looks a good guy. A lot of Evertonians I know, so good luck to them. Man City Man City back to winning ways, Steve?
Yeah, pretty comfortable actually. They scored early, and I think that's what they needed to settle with. Missed chances as they always do. Forest, I saw bits of it. Forest had a bit of a go, but they weren't going to slip up this time when they were 3-0 up as they did against Feyenoord last week. So back to winning ways, but not 100% convincing though.
Yeah, Wood had that chance at 1-0. Saw the highlights. That had gone in. You never know. Paul, you watched a bit of Southampton, Chelsea.
I watched the whole of the Southampton. Yeah, I had it on the other
5-1. You're saying Southampton?
Southampton were all over them. You cannot believe the goals they gave away. If I was Russell Martin, I'd be going mad. They played beautiful football. They got him behind their chances. And Chelsea were on the rack.
Yeah.
And they got a fluke goal. They equalised quickly.
Yeah.
They're back on top. You've got to see the goalkeeper's pass.
Yeah.
The goalkeeper's actually, when they scored the goal, he's on the big box line. And the striker's got no one in his way. He's got just puts it into empty net.
They did that against Liverpool. The guy cleared it in the middle of goal, not wide. So
Yeah,
they play like that. That's why they're going down.
Yeah.
Steve, Arsenal, Man United, 2-0, comfortable.
Yeah, I think it was. United, for what I saw, sort of gave it a bit of a go, but I think you said before that they tried not to lose, and Arsenal are not pretty at the moment, but they're effective, and they needed that. They've just, they obviously had a couple of big wins away from home in the last week or week, 10 days, and I think that's gotten back to winning ways. So they needed to, because obviously with Liverpool were pulling away a bit.
Yeah.
But set piece kings. Every corner was dangerous. Every single corner.
What was it, Steve? He says that 22 goals from set pieces.
22 goals from set pieces since the turn of the year.
Yeah.
Which
And they didn't have their main centre half.
Yeah, well, their back guy keeps running into the goalkeeper. I wonder how long it's going to take people to work that out.
Just what? Kukureka got a guy sent off, but the guy's wrong. You don't pull a man's hair. Watch him. Every single corner he runs straight into the keeper. He runs it. They got to start yellow carding him and stopping him.
Trial by TV like they do in rugby, the sin bin, and then they've got to bury them. That's the only way you can do it.
Every game, I especially watch him.
Yeah.
What do you think, Steve? Kukureka's behaviour in the box?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's interesting. A couple of seasons ago when we were in the Championship, we did that, and Mitrovic got a lot of goals from corners. If the referees let you get away with it, you're going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
It was interesting listening to Tony Adams before the game with Michael Owen, and he was just saying he cannot believe what's going on in the box today.
Yeah.
He said they're grabbing every corner. Something's got to be done, but they'll do nothing because you can't punish somebody.
It's getting to the stage they have to do something.
Trial by TV, like rugby, the Sighting Commission bury them. Aston Villa back to winning ways at home against a Brentford team. They're away from home. Jeez, I don't know if they take the same team.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a big win. They really needed it. Unai Emery was under a little bit of pressure, obviously. He swapped the team around a little bit, but it was a big win for them. First win in about 7, so it sort of keeps them up there. They're still adrift of the teams above them, but they needed that.
Yeah, Newcastle, Liverpool, as usual, an absolute thriller. I was glued to the TV.
Brilliant.
What a game. Newcastle had chances to go 2 goals ahead. They scored, but he was offside. Trent Alexander comes on. He can't defend. Got booked with his first tackle. But what a game. Steve, you've got to go on to the weekend. And
fixtures.
Liverpool will be very quiet until 12:30 on Saturday, UK time. Can Everton upset them, Steve?
Well, look, historically they don't, but they go into the game on the back of a huge win, Everton, confidence boosting, and Liverpool go into the game, having conceded 3 away from home. So, I think it could. Look, they're always feisty affairs. I think it could be close. I suspect Liverpool will come out on top, but Everton have got nothing. They'll really give it a go, I think, this time around.
Yeah, I think there'll be plenty of goals in this game. But set piece, Everton, they were dangerous last night, but hard to go against Liverpool. Aston Villa, surely you've got to be too good for Southampton, Steve?
Well, you would think so. So I think on the back of the win last night, I think Villa are going to think that another home win against a team that are rock bottom and in danger of sort of losing ground with the teams they've got to catch.
Yeah, over 3.5 goals, 12-10. That Southampton, the way that manager would drive me nuts, trying to play it from the back.
Yeah, it's
it just doesn't score
week in, week out.
Yeah, everyone knows it's coming. Yeah, even heard the Chelsea manager this morning say the same thing. Brentford, Newcastle, Steve.
Interesting game.
Could this be the upset of the weekend?
Well, look, you just don't know what you're going to get with Newcastle. At the weekend, they literally had one shot on target away at Palace. Could have won it, but they were under pressure the whole time. Last night, the bits of what I saw in the highlights, fantastic performance. Brentford at home are a different side. Brentford haven't lost at home this season.
Yeah.
They're rolling everybody, but they've played most of the teams below them. On the other hand, Newcastle, if they play as they did last night or as they did in the second half at Forest, you fancy them. I think there'll be goals.
Yeah.
I've just got a feeling there could be a hatful of goals here, and I think it's anyone's game.
Yeah, Newcastle's back four on their hands and knees. They were lucky to get out of jail. I took Brentford to score over 1.5 goals, 11-10. As you say, Steve, 6 wins and a draw at home. Even though it is against the lesser teams, they scored a lot of goals. So, agree with you there, goals in this particular game. Crystal Palace have done fairly well, Steve. Can they give Man City a game?
No, I think they can. I think City will probably be buoyed by the fact that they've got back onto winning ways. Palace have obviously picked up 4 points in the last couple of games.
Yeah.
They'll keep it tight, Palace. And they'll try and catch them on the break. But you just think that if City get that early goal, they'll be too strong for them.
Yeah, I went over 2.5 goals, both teams to score. Yes, I think middle of park, Man City are still woeful. Even last night, they looked at the team. Gungda winning 5 attacking players. And one thing about Eze at Palace, he can play that guy. He'll give them fits and starts, but you've got to think Man City at 6-10. It's not a bad price. Man United, too good for Notts Forest?
You would think so. I think that, obviously, forget last night, but I think that they showed quite a bit in the last home game against Everton, and I think Ruben Amorim is going to expect the same tough week for Forest. Could be the Manchester double loss for them.
Yeah, don't score away from home, you're not going to get much joy. Steve, big game for your boys. Obviously, you play tonight, Fulham. Can you upset Arsenal on the weekend?
I would be very surprised. We did last year, and in fact, we took 4 points off them.
Yeah.
We do have a tough game. We've got injuries and a couple of suspensions, so we've got we're a few players light. We've got to get 1 or 2 back for the weekend. But I just got a feeling Arsenal are going to be too strong for us. It's not, our season is not going to be defined by how we do against the likes of Arsenal. And I just think watching Arsenal. Or get Sporting watching them at West Ham at the weekend. I just think they're going to be too strong for us.
Yeah, they've got that cockiness back again, and I think you're a perfect opponent for them. Remember a couple of years ago they beat you 3-0. It wouldn't surprise me if it's a similar score, but I think you're in trouble. 6-10 Arsenal, I think it's a good thing. Ipswich, Bournemouth. You never know what you're going to get for Bournemouth. 1 week they're beating Man City, the next week they're non-existent. Can Ipswich give them a game though, Steve?
I think Ipswich are giving everyone a game, but it's whether or not they can actually get more than say a point out of it. Bournemouth again surprised me. I thought Wolves would give them a tougher game than they did, and they were fairly comfortable in the end.
Yeah.
Interesting, Ipswich would have had a couple of days more rest.
Correct.
Because they played Tuesday and Bournemouth played tonight, a tough game. So I think Ipswich has certainly got an opportunity, but I wouldn't be surprised if they cancel each other out.
Yeah, I just took a chance on Bournemouth scoring over 1.5 goals at even money. One thing about them, they definitely score goals, but they can concede too. And I agree about the fitness thing. Those extra couple of days is definitely a major plus for Ipswich. Lud van Nistelrooy, how they got a result, Steve, I don't know. I know West Ham at the back were woeful, but they got outplayed for large parts of the game. Can they upset Brighton as well?
Look, it's possible. I mean, Brighton again. Leicester would have had a couple of games because Brighton played tonight at Fulham.
Yeah.
So it's an opportunity, and I think again confidence will be high. Although, as you say, they were outplayed for a lot of the game, but they won and they scored 3 goals. So I think they can certainly hold them.
Yeah, Brighton seem to get some of the away from home. Some of their performances are superb at home. When teams back off them and give them the ball, they seem to be a lot worse than teams that attack them. You just never know. If I was going to have a bet, I'd back Vardy to score again. You know, it looks like he's got back to some sharpness, but you've got to think Brighton will get back to winning ways. Big game, Paul. Tottenham, Chelsea. What do you think?
Tight game. We never do well against Chelsea.
Yeah,
Chelsea,
I saw the stats, Paul.
yeah, Chelsea stats are bad, but we're good at home.
Yeah.
You know, and as I say, I watched Southampton run them ragged for the first 20 minutes. So, be an interesting game. I think if we score first, we've got a big chance. Could go either way.
What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, look, I mean, I remember in the old days, Chelsea were always used to go and win, and they used to call it 3-point lane. But I think the issue at the moment, Chelsea can rotate. You know, they've got a freshness about them because you know they're swapping teams around. So unlike some of the other teams who are playing sort of 2 games a week, a lot of these players are not. Look, Chelsea is scoring goals for fun, and I just got a feeling if they could catch Tottenham. I mean, remember that game, was it last season when Spurs had players off and Chelsea sort of romped home 4-1? You can sort of see something not too dissimilar. I think if Chelsea will sit back and catch Tottenham on the break, and you know, I'm afraid, Paul, I could see a away win here.
Yeah, so the only thing is you never know with Spurs. You get beat.
We turn up, we can roll them.
Yeah, you can roll anybody.
We can roll anybody
but
if
I
we
just
turn
thought
up.
you're right. Remember you mentioned it a while ago, and I remember when Son got sent off for kicking the guy in the stomach.
Rudiger
went down.
Rudiger. I was at the game.
Yeah,
twice we've had someone sent off against them.
Yeah, but they seem to have. I think they've won 5 of the last 7, which does, you know.
I'll tell you what.
You never know with Spurs. That's one thing.
Well,
16 to 10 Spurs could look a great bet. But on the other hand, 15 to 10 Chelsea could be a good thing.
Get on the Spurs.
Last but not least, Steve, West Ham Wolves. Is this the next manager to be fired, Derby?
It's interesting. A lot of the pundits are saying, "Oh, it's Lopetegui is in real trouble. If they don't win this, I think he could be in trouble because if you look at West Ham's results, they're disappointed. Look, they're several points clear of the bottom 3. It's not as if they're in desperate straits. But the fans are not happy. They're not happy with the style of football. Wolves, the Wolves fans evidently last night were chanting, "You're getting sacked in the morning" to their own manager. So, I think whoever loses this is in trouble.
Of the teams, I fancy West Ham. I think they'll cruise. Even money. Monday night be a great game. On to the Championship, which surprisingly never had any midweek games, but a big game Friday night, Steve. Burnley, Middlesbrough. How do you see it going?
It is, and Burnley have sort of crept up there. They've not, like a couple of years ago when they were sort of storming, everyone was talking about them. Here they've sort of been under the radar a little bit, but they've actually had on a bit of a run. Middlesbrough, you're not sure what you're going to get. I mean, they had a good run. They've had some good wins, sort of won 4 and drawn 2 of their last 6. But I've just, Burnley, I've just got a feeling might just they're good at shutting teams out, and I think if they're able to do that, they'll win. I think it'll be close, but I can see a Burnley home win.
Now, you just never know with Middlesbrough. They've got that youngster who's on loan from Liverpool, and he plays for Scotland. Jeez, he can play on the right wing.
Ben Doak.
Yeah, that's him. I tell you, if they get going, they'll run Burnley's back 4 ragged. But I agree, miserable little stadium, Burnley. Sorry, Nigel. At Nigel Swinbank, that's where he was born. But
it's not a city; it's a town.
Town, correct. Yeah, but I don't know. That's a funny game for me. But I agree. It looks like it's got 1-0 Burnley written all over it. But it wouldn't surprise me. Middlesbrough gets something. Leeds too good for Derby, Steve?
Yeah, they should be. They slipped up the other day, Leeds, surprisingly. But I think they'll bounce back and be too strong.
Yeah, 26-10, over 2.5 goals. Both teams to score. No, they've only conceded 1 goal in the last 6 at home. They're destroying teams, and I think they'll destroy Derby. Sheffield Wednesday, Preston, Steve. My boys got a chance.
Well, they've always got a chance, but I think the best result that your guys will get might be a draw. But Sheffield Wednesday, a little bit up and down. At home, obviously, Hillsborough, they're a bit stronger. I would think Wednesday are favourites, but a draw is not out of the question.
Yeah, we've drawn 6 for the last 8. Funny thing about Preston, Sheffield Wednesday, I think it was 4 seasons ago. We played them and 2 of our players were fighting on the pitch. They both got sent off, and they made those 2 players refund the ticket prices to all the supporters. My mate was there. They got their £45 back, I think, or whatever it was, a ticket. So that was the last of the fighting between the players. But I think 5-2 the draw looks a bit of a good thing. Sunderland, Steve, I'm all over them to beat Stoke City. I know they haven't won in 6, but they've drawn 5. They're unlucky the other night. I think Sheffield United beat them. I think 8-10 is a good price. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, Stoke, they're just far too inconsistent. And I think you're right. I mean, they've drawn far too many, Sunderland, but I would think that this is one that they should turn into 3 points.
Yeah, Sunderland all day, all night. On to our second page. Cardiff City, who they had the new manager Barnes, but of late haven't had too many results against a Watford team who invincible at home but struggle away from home. How do you see it?
Yeah, it's strange. Apart from that sort of 6-2 away win at Sheffield Wednesday, they really have struggled. But I just got a feeling that I've got a feeling that they're going to go there and get a result. I think there's sort of fairly good sort of value odds there, and I fancy Watford.
Yeah, I've watched Cardiff. They played Swansea in the local derby, and they were just a panel-beating team. And I think they score more goals from set pieces than any other team in the Championship. So that always makes me worry about Watford. But I agree, of the two teams, I like Watford. Hull City, who since they finally fired Liam Rossini, have gone one way, and that's backwards. I fancy Blackburn to cause an upset, Steve. 16-10, I think is a good price. Can you have them?
Yeah, I'm not sure it would be. Yeah, I'm not sure it would be such an upset. Hull have got 1 point in the last 6 games. Yeah. The fans are not happy. What on earth the owners were doing? Getting rid of a good young manager who'd actually sort of got them very close. Blackburn away have not been good of late, and they're not scoring the goals that they did. But I think if there was to be a winner, I wouldn't bet against Blackburn. Yeah,
they won the last 3, Blackburn, so that gives me confidence. Luton Town at home on that tight pitch, Steve. That's a decent price against a Swansea City team who struggle to score goals.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, Swansea do play some nice football, but Luton at home, again, we keep thinking they're going to turn the corner, but it's the way they can't pick points up. But I think at home, they should be too strong.
Now they won 4 the last 7 at home, so 12-10 is worth an interest. Millwall against Frank Lampard's Coventry City. This has everything to say. It looks like a tight game, but the way Lampard's teams play, there's going to be goals in this, Steve. Do you agree with me?
Yeah, the one thing though, Millwall don't concede many, and they're unbeaten in 7. They've gave up a lot. A late goal at Oxford would have won otherwise. I've just got a feeling. I think Millwall going to be too strong.
Okay.
So Steve, how far is Coventry from London?
About 90 miles, 90 to 100 miles.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, not an hour and a half. I think 12-10. Steve, I couldn't believe the price. Both teams to score 12-10. Lampard's teams always score. As you say, Millwall, you never know. But I think 12-10, I think it's a great price. On to our final page in the Championship. And a man who was under pressure, the White Pele, Wayne Rooney. Plymouth at home. They don't get beat at home, Steve. They played both. These two teams came up last season, and Plymouth won both games. I fancy Plymouth here, Steve. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's going to be their home form. I mean, they've had a couple of really big defeats away from home, and I saw sort of Wayne Rooney being interviewed, and he was pretty despondent about it. I'm sure he's been working them hard on the training ground this week, and I think the two. I think you're right. Plymouth should be favourites at home this weekend.
Yeah, Wayne Rooney. Portsmouth, Bristol City. Portsmouth, I think, have only won 1 game. That's when they beat Preston North End. Bristol City up and down, Steve, but great chance to get the points here.
They do. I mean, Portsmouth obviously have had a couple of games postponed because of the weather and then because of the floodlight failure. So they're coming to it fresh, although haven't played much. I think this is the sort of game Portsmouth could get something. I wouldn't be surprised if they cancel each other out and we end up with a score draw. Yeah,
even money score draws. It was a good looking price, but of the two, I fancy Bristol City. QPR had a recent surge. I think they got 5 points from the last 3 games. Norwich City at home, I think they've only lost 1 in the last 25, but away from home, they're gettable. Can QPR cause an upset?
They can, except that Norwich have had a couple of good wins, recently and scored goals, and I think that could just give Norwich the edge, I think, on the day.
Yeah, just that QPR, that's a tight ground.
They lost 5 away games, they drew 3 and lost 2.
Norwich, that's Norwich, away from home. They just concede, that's the only problem. So I went both teams to score. Steve, I was going to make this my value bet of the weekend. West Brom, Sheffield United. Which way do you think it'll go?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, Sheffield United are playing really well and not conceding. West Brom are not losing, but they're not winning. They're drawing so many games. It's the sort of game that West Brom can't afford to lose or sort of lose ground. I was on Sheffield United last weekend and they didn't let me down. I was tempted as well. I thought those are very good odds, but I've just got a feeling that West Brom might just hold them.
Yeah, I think there'll be goals in this. I think both teams know they've got to have a go. West Brom have got to get back into the promotion picture, and Sheffield United, they need the points to make sure they're automatic. I like Sheffield United, the 2, but the odds was like 16-10 over 2.5 goals. I thought that was a good price. So I like Sheffield United of the 2 teams. Steve, pressure time again. I need your best bet and value bet, please.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Millwall as my best bet. I think at home they're going to be too strong. And my value bet, I'm going to go for Watford. I think that there's quite a good value there. I was going to go for Sheffield United. I was on them last week. I'm not going to keep picking the same team every week. So I'll go for Watford to score some goals at Cardiff.
Steve, you said Millwall.
Millwall at home, yeah.
Okay, no panic at all. Well, I'm on Sunderland. I think they're due to come right. I can't have Stoke. And my bet is Blackburn. I think there's trouble in that Hull City camp. Blackburn got some nice little football players. It looks a nice stadium, that Hull City ground. But let's see what happens. Steve, good luck tonight at the Cottage.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a tough game. Interestingly enough, we have a very good unbeaten in 6. I'm not going to jinx it. We're unbeaten in 6 in the Premier League against Brighton. But they're an entertaining side, Brighton. So hopefully it'll be a good game.
I think there'll be goals in that, Steve. That's guaranteed. Steve, thanks again.
All the best, Steve.
All
the best.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye-bye. Right, Buzz, PSL fixtures. Let's go straight into them. And we've got Richards Bay playing against Supersport. I spoke to Gavin up there.
Okay.
I saw him up at the Summer Cup, had a chat with him.
Yeah.
They'd just been beaten the night before, so he said they're
Well, they can't score goals.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, he was crying to Dylan Kerr when I saw Dylan 2 weeks ago. Paul, if ever there's a game, it was 5-1, 0-0. This is a game. Richards Bay, I've watched them play. They hadn't scored late against Chiefs. Chiefs were 2-0 up and gave them a chance. But, Paul, the draw 19-10 looks a good bet. Richards Bay don't score goals.
Okay.
So, and I don't trust Gavin's team.
No.
So, 5-1, I would take the chance 0-0. TS Galaxy, Amazulu, Paul. This has been played in Nelspruit. TS Galaxy got a good result the other week. They won 3-1. Amazulu, you never know.
Never know.
They beat Richards Bay 3-1 in Mlazi last week. But of the 2 teams, I like TS Galaxy.
Okay.
Maroon Gallants, Paul, Clinton Larson's at Magezi. They won the cup. But their league form's been woeful. Now, you just don't know whether their eyes they've taken all the money in that competition. Maroon Gallants, Paul, aren't the best. But win and draw, Maroon Gallants for me.
Okay.
Sekakuna, Paul, 16-10, I thought was a good price. Cape Town City, Paul, they're not the old.
They're 11th, eh?
Paul, away from home. Beforehand, they were tight, gave nothing away. They conceding goals for fun. So, of the 2 teams, I like Sekakuna. Paul, Kaizer Chiefs 15-10. I'm gonna back them. Always back Chiefs. I like what I've seen. The game's been played obviously in Polokwane, but Chiefs have been playing in Polokwane. Their last 2 games were in Polokwane. It's a nice big stadium, so they're the home team.
15-10.
15-10, Paul, on Sunday. That'll be my bet.
Okay. Give me your thinking on your bets.
On the exotics, Paul, I've gone, it's CAF this week. This will be a good game. Hopefully we've got it on. Orlando Pirates, Al Ahly, that's the main team from Egypt. I've gone the field in that particular game, I've banked TS Galaxy to beat Amazulu and Aston Villa to beat Southampton. I've gone Brentford win and draw at home against Newcastle. I'm looking for the upset Crystal Palace against Man City and Maruma Gallants win and draw against Magezi 2-1-6. On to our second Soccer 6. 3 bankers, 3 fields. I'm banking Juventus to beat Bologna. The field in the Borussia Mönchengladbach versus Borussia Dortmund game. I think Man United will be too good at home for Notts Forest. 2 fields, Sekakuna United against Cape Town City and FAR Rabat from Morocco. They play Mamelodi Sundowns. I've gone the field there and I think Roma will be too good for Lecce, 162. On to the Soccer 10. I'm banking Las Palmas to beat Real Valladolid. The field in the Orlando Pirates Al Ahly game. Banking TS Galaxy to beat Amazulu. Torino to avoid defeat against Patrick Vieira's Genoa. Aston Villa to be too good at home against Southampton. Onto the second page, starting with Brentford to avoid defeat at home against Newcastle United. Again, looking for the upset. Crystal Palace against Man City. Barcelona, I think, will be too good for Real Betis. Go Ahead Eagles, win and draw at home against NEC Nijmegen. And Maruma Gallants, win and draw against Magezi, 288. On to the 13, as difficult as normal. I'm bankering Man United to beat Notts Forest, Aston Villa to beat Southampton, Brentford to beat Newcastle, Man City win and draw at Crystal Palace, Cardiff City win and draw at home against Watford, Blackburn Rovers to avoid defeat at Hull City, and Luton Town to be too good at home against Swansea City. Onto the second page, I'm going Millwall win and draw against Coventry City, bankering Plymouth Argyle to beat Oxford United, Bristol City to avoid defeat at Portsmouth, looking for the upset. Queen's Park Rangers win and draw at home against Norwich City. Birmingham City should be too good for Barnsley, and Huddersfield Town win and draw against Mansfield Town, 256. Budgie's bets, here we go. First, I'm going over 2.5 goals, both teams to score, and the Crystal Palace, Man City and Man United, Notts Forest games. And I'm going Arsenal to beat Fulham and over 3.5 total goals, 3,400 to 200. My team goals only, I'm going Brentford, Man United, Arsenal and Bournemouth, all to score over 1.5 goals or a minimum of 2,200 to 200. Onto the Championship, I'm going Sunderland to beat Stoke City, over 2.5 goals and both teams to score no. So that's Leeds United or Derby to win 3-0 or more. And over 2.5 goals on the Sunday game between West Brom and Sheffield United, 3,600 to 200. My both teams to score sides in the Championship are Millwall, Coventry City, Portsmouth, Bristol City, QPR, Norwich City, and West Brom, Sheffield United, 2,200 to 200. On to Spain, I'm going Las Palmas to beat Real Valladolid and Osasuna to beat Alaves. And then both teams to score in the Athletic Bilbao, Villarreal and Getafe Espanyol game on Monday, 3,300 to 200. And our Collis King 6 or Nixa, I'm going for
Brentford.
No, that's actually wrong. I'm going for Liverpool to beat Everton. I'm going for Arsenal to beat Fulham, Leeds United to beat Derby County, Sunderland to beat Stoke City, Osasuna to beat Real Valladolid, and Atletico Madrid to beat Sevilla at 3,500 to 200.
Sounds good, Budge. Sounds very, very good. So don't forget, last one standing. It's getting hot again.
Paul.
Pressure time again. When does it start?
Saturday, well, the early game, Paul. I think everybody's used Liverpool. So we'll see. But obviously the first competition between
and we have no idea what the other two finalists have taken this weekend. No idea yet.
No idea yet, yeah.
All right, so that's it. Until next time, stay on side.